under one roof for the first time in all of our lives.
We have depended on it, and now it's already started. See our great big bunch of balloons with everybody's name on it? That's the start of the celebration. We've got a name tag on every door for each one, and it's going to be a great weekend.
And we have all kinds of food ready already, and some more being brought. I think that's enough for this.
November 1990.
We all have a balloon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, next to it.
She tried to put something on there that would suit each one, you know, like cars Charles used to. Yeah.
Reunion to begin.
It won't be long.
Oh, where's Carson? Is that what she's doing now?
What you gonna forget?
Comes the baby, always the baby, Annette.
Wow. Didn't do it. I didn't do it intentionally.
Travis, it's gonna fall. Is it gonna fall? I believe it'll be a... One inch.
Hurt you.
That's all right. It'll get well. Got it off? You're taking the ground. Richard, you're taking the ground.
I don't know how to stop it. No, I'll stop it.
That's enough for me.
Well, I'm trying to decide how to stop the thing.
Well, it is. It's continuing, even with the lens on.
Oh, wait a minute.
Like to get down in here? Honey, I bet he had to go to the bathroom.
You gonna help me?
Liliana.
All right.
Seems
like I saw you down
Hi, Holy. No, well, I'm going to hug everybody.
Hey.
So good.
What's your name? I don't know. That's mine. I couldn't know yours. Here's my prostitute glass.
Oh, your prostitute glass behind it? Travis, where you want me to park my rig?
Right in here, any way you want to. I did. There's the other words.
You sure did.
You want Cameron Camry?
Huh?
You want me to hit you
I want to have you where you do it, babe.
That's all right.
Do it fine.
Did I tell you about hymns? Carrying hymns to the post people, carrying hymns to the graveyard?
a little bit. I have two.
Water out of the river.
Look, you on Candy Camera. Oh, hey, Glad. There we go.
Afterwards, I was sick.
I hope he had it off today too.
Your battery's about dead.
Pictures.
Are you serious?
No, that's, doesn't tell you anything about
Eyes
it.
lied. Again.
That's your own cameras. That's your camera, Rick?
No, it's Darlene's, and she asked me to make some pictures.
Or you said, you didn't bring no one? He took me with him, and I had worms.
A wormy outfit.
And then we had fish, we caught fish.
We just stood there and caught fish and nobody else hardly catch them.
3 weeks ago.
Spot find it, wouldn't you?
But if they're biting good, you don't need a worm. Hardly. I'm not kidding you.
Drop it down and get a fish.
I don't mind. I'm good.
You're not doing that.
If the light went out.
What we had in the spring.
No, it was frozen though, it wasn't fresh.
Okay, it's frozen when they first put it out, but then it thaws out, and that's when it gets melted, when it gets hot.
There were so many members in
Where did Howard go?
Yeah. That thing won't take pictures in the dark.
It's not in the dark. That's why we got a picture out here. So, you know what? I can't find the little button to turn it on.
Well, onion, dear.
Do you have
Have a little onion.
Richard said it looked blurred to him.
No.
What'd you say?
Bell, pepper, north, cucumber.
You'll take a piece of shrimp in it.
No broccoli. Have all the shrimp you can put on there. Just scoop it up like that. Put everything on it.
What are you doing?
Especially shrimp. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing my best.
Fried oysters.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Doing my best.
Spit it out.
Why?
Keep the old time guy.
Here's the reduction. Are we all?
Did you?
Quiet in here. Is that got?
Howard, you're not supposed to pick your teeth on, you're not supposed to pick your teeth when you have your picture taken.
That's all right. You didn't have to go back and think about it. You think about pictures.
He was making some sense.
They are.
Even if it's still not happy because we had such a small state.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were.
So you better look over there and get your picture on there, your face on there.
She got it.
No.
She got it.
I won't let you have a film.
Hey, Sarah Belle.
I won't make you no film if you don't turn your face over there and see. Have you seen my dishes? Look over there in the cabinet, my pretty dishes.
You might not get to take any more pictures because I'll break the.
Well, you have just fine. And we started that over with. We started later, didn't we?
Don't anybody look at me feeding this cake.
I didn't see you do, I didn't see you.
Swallow my hand. Swallow my hand.
It's not that bad.
Ain't it?
They just hide behind this thing back here. Oh, he's trying to get on.
Thanks, you can get in that too. You have to crawl in from the front.
No, 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 no.
Come on.
Thing up there.
I think, I'm gonna run it through this anyhow.
Sarah Bell was in there playing the guitar. She was taking pictures.
Where's Gladys's little container that she has her water in? Everybody knows?
It's not water, it's
Who? She had water in it.
Who has?
Well, hey there. Oh, man.
A little thermos
I'll
thing.
get a pop.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll just put some
Right.
There's a red light on that
2
camera.
years
Catch
after
you.
my class.
Wonder what's happened to it.
Your battery's low. Better charge the battery.
Oh, I tried. That's where we didn't run very well.
Oh, not take no pictures of us sad sacks.
I'm never
Therefore,
The
sad sacks.
stage at the high school
Uncle Dewey.
and the library was there.
We look so bad.
We didn't have a stage at the high school. We only had a stage at grammar school.
Well, I think probably.
I didn't do it.
Balloons and the doors.
Close to me.
Was that the last thing we?
I think so, yeah, here we
We're
are.
having such a good time.
But it may not have taken, I made it.
Let's see.
I talked back to myself. That's when it quit on me, honey.
No lipstick.
Remember?
No, you don't.
Good old buddy.
No.
How long was it like that?
Well, I don't know. Put my fingers up like that over her head. Now that's enough.
Okay, that's just moving all the time.
Look at
Me too. I
thought you could be.
And now we're fussing about it. Now we're gonna see. And there.
That big old fish. Bert, did you catch that fish?
Not yet.
It's beautiful.
Little lamb.
These flowers are given today at Stony Fork Baptist Church in loving memory of our parents, Eugene Monroe Thompson and Maddie Smith Thompson, our sister, Katie Thompson Honeycutt, our brother-in-law, Malcolm Plain, and our nephew, Kenneth Gerald Thompson. We are pleased to be able to do this today. I shouldn't have done that.
We're gonna have a game of Uno.
Well, I play, so that's good.
No, it's not been quilted.
You know,
This is a quilt that my mother pieced for Margaret, Old May's daughter. And Old May wants to finish it up to give to Margaret as a surprise for Christmas. I shouldn't have said that if I
Do you
Margaret
remember-
sees the.
do you remember how Mama used to sit and piece quilts all the time?
Well, honey, this
She
is her
always
stitching. It's
I
by
know.
hand.
I know.
It's
She
her fault.
always had her stitching together.
Something.
And this one is really nice because it wasn't made on paper. Most
Right.
of them she pieced on paper because she used every little scrap she had. And she really made some pretty quilts.
She did. This is pinwheel design.
You dance.
The little doodads on the windows are what in Little May, so that each one of us will have a remembrance of this day in 1990 when we all got together.
They're made of wildflowers and junk. Trash.
They're pretty.
Oh, you're tired, huh?
No, I brought all my family with me.
Hey,
How about that?
Call their names.
Wayne. Go ahead. Well, yeah, brought Wayne and Billy and Karen and Chris and Jan and their spouses and their children. And some of them's under my arms.
I'll be the one that break it.
Survey.
You'll be sorry. Gladys, come out from under there. I'll just start split up and get him. Get over here, little one.
Yeah, they were real.
I mean, I gotta get my picture on there like that now.
After you get everybody's face, let them hold their end up so you can get
The folks already knows that they come and get back and get some more.
And that's
There you
about
go.
$40 a quart, huh?
Yeah.
30, about $38, I believe.
Did you,
If you buy 2
It's
quarts,
just
I think it comes
beautiful.
down to about $28 or $29.
do you have a picture of it?
And,
Do you
Now you have
know that
one
these
minute
young'uns
joint
will
put in
have
the
to?
state fair, but I didn't know how to get in touch with anybody. But
Oh,
how to get it up there.
Rachel, I could have told you.
Rachel,
We
tell
live
me
right
about the
over
quilts.
on the other side of Green
Rachel?
Top.
This quilt I finished last year after working on it for about 2.5 years when I was sitting in the store, nobody in. But
I bet you
it's
get $3
got
for it.
every state, the shape of the state capital, the name of the state, the year the state joined the union, and what number it joined the union.
And the bird and
State
the flower.
bird and the state flower.
To Gene and Mattie Thompson. In Montgomery County, a long time ago, when dollars were few but love was aglow, Eugene Thompson and Mattie Smith met and were married forthwith. Against her papa's wishes, Mattie gave Gene her heart, to love and to obey till death did them part. They had good times and bad times, ups and downs, roses and nettles and smiles and frowns, depression and inflation, praise and adorations, all such trials and blessings as made up the life of a 20th century farmer and his wife. Now children came, as you might suppose, lots of them. And as they grew and had children, as usually goes, and on this day, and they grew and had children, as it usually goes, and on this day we gathered here to honor and to praise and acclaim and revere those two who lived more than 70 years and shared the hopes and the joys and the tears of each other, their children, their children's children, and on down to their children's children's children. Though they're not here, the king and the queen, let's all remember, and then let's all sing. We remember you always, with a love that's true always. Taught us to be true, to all the heart like you, and we will honor you always. Skies may not be blue always, but we'll remember you always. Not for just this hour, not for just this day, not for just this year, but always.
It's fisherman.
And Grandma.
Who caught the biggest fish today?
Annette, of course. This is the little baby sister. Always will be the baby.
Do your shoulder, lady.
Does it? Well, it sure does rub. We've been talking about Katie. Tell me something about Katie.
I've never built a house like we did the last. I didn't have a contract. And, I didn't want that much knowledgeable about building. But I used a couple company employees and just paid the
I had to
company
stay
their
back 2
labor.
times.
And,
There wasn't no school, that was
they about worried me to death.
1, 2 was,
And I got roofed on the brickwork.
and it didn't, there wasn't nobody past the school, that didn't graduate nobody one year. Because everybody was out.
Just trying to get everything.
Next year, I don't know,
That's one man I knew.
I didn't go too much, I was sick a whole lot of time. And then when I was in the 6th grade,
You always have to go out there.
I started back over the same week.
Where are you?
Yeah,
Did she help you study at night? Did you study together?
Yeah, well, I made passing grades the whole year. She'd bring the homework home, do all the homework. I didn't go back, she'd take it back to the teacher. I made passing grades.
Oh.
I couldn't graduate because I missed more than 20 days of school and said if anybody that misses 20 days of school,
Oh. And you were sick.
no,
You were sick that working in, working in the
they
field.
didn't have enough help to carry on. I stayed out to pick cotton, that makes sense.
I stayed out and helped
But
plant
Peter
cotton.
brought my home every day. And all the homework I sent it back in. I go about 1 or 2 days a week. And they wouldn't let me pass, so they left me.
She left you.
He was persistent though.
But you were as smart as she was. You
Oh,
just had,
she was the valedictorian of the class.
she was.
Yeah, and all they was when she
I
graduated.
know. And Lula was salutatorian. But you know, I wasn't.
But I was,
You hold it for me?
I should have passed if she only let me
Yeah, what
go.
else? Let's start it down.
Who was your teacher?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Been good to us all this year?
Yeah, but
Okay.
dare not be living.
he gives out some.
You gonna have it out in California?
The Episcopalian, that's the man.
What? When the crack is biting.
Specs.
We might be out west.
more than Charles.
We call them
We got
specs.
some extra seats up
Them
here.
crackers.
I caught
You sisters-in-law, come on over.
Well, you didn't say nothing. When you get all them fins off of that catfish, you
We're
didn't
gonna do our
help
best to get everybody together like this again.
But I had one
It is
that got
rare.
away.
It really
That don't
is rare.
Yes, it is, for this big a family, for this many people to be together and be this well, for the ages they are. It's really something.
Maybe my.
Oh, well, talk about that. Who you wanna talk about?
That's what we wanted to know. We gotta have somebody start us off. I mean, I'm gonna shut my mouth. I'm
Y'all
gonna
remember,
most of the
y'all
time.
older ones remember more than I did, 'cause you lived longer than I did.
Not a whole lot now.
I want Sarah to sing that song again.
What year was you born?
What were you
I was
saying?
born before you, but not a whole lot before you.
What year?
Not a lifetime.
Oh,
before.
no.
He was born before I
1910.
was, and I was born 1913.
He was born, he was 18 years. I'm just a young one then.
25 years before me.
Yeah,
I'm just a
I'm
young.
the baby.
yeah.
She's a baby.
I was born just for the Depression year of 1925.
That's right.
I used to think Mama was 62 years old. I thought she was so
Yeah.
old. I thought when I got that old, I didn't know where I
County
came.
didn't need
How old
to
are they?
pay off the school bus drivers.
You said on your kids' show?
Charles, tell us
You know,
why she
way back
couldn't
on.
sit there.
She sat on his keys.
Can't sit on that chair with them Republicans?
Who's Republican?
She wants to get.
That is that.
Those two sitting there. He said it was.
She wants to sit over there in friendly territory, don't you, Evelyn?
Well, what?
You want to get over there in friendly territory, don't
Way
you?
back on before you remember.
Territory, if that's the case.
Around about this time of the year, people started thinking about getting some whiskey for Christmas. And there wasn't a liquor store nowhere in the area. There wasn't one waiting for it. I mean, a government liquor store. Come on, Sunday, it won't hurt you.
The law might rub off on you.
Did you go get some?
Maybe I might rub
So,
some.
I remember when they'd be 2 or 3 buggy loads, go to Wadesboro, take all they bought, go back, they go back and get them a gallon of whiskey. I believe that's all they could bring back a piece, a gallon. I went over there one time, I wasn't along actually, but I heard talk about it. One old man up in Johnson, Abner Johnson, had a mule called Jack. And he was scared of old Jack. Old Jack's scared of everything else, but he's scared of old Jack. And but Jack was supposed to be scared of a train. They got over this side of Wadesboro and heard a train way down the track, blowing. His boys were better stop before they get to that railroad. I hear a train. So I said, what is this number? No.
Freight train.
It'd be a long time before they got there, you know. And he asked old Jack know there was a freight train and a passenger train. They come back with a gallon. It was everyone had a gallon of liquor. And
A little wooden box.
huh?
It was a little wooden box.
Yeah. And that guy, it was long, small, wasn't very big round, long jug. Had a cork stopper in it.
Who's this you're talking about?
Huh?
Who is this you're talking about?
Oh, my daddy and your daddy. She brought it out and showed us how. Here, got my cake ready. She said, I don't have a piece of that cake. Now, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna cut it for Christmas. You know, I might not be living Christmas. She came back and next thing she's going with a plate with a piece of that cake on it.
Well,
She
you know,
did that
he broke every cake she ever made.
every weekend if she
Well, I
made a
seen
cake
one
in
time
picture.
he didn't break for.
It was-
He taken it out of that oven. She said, "Oh my goodness," and I throw it outdoors. It didn't run. And I was hit with it.
That was grandma.
No, it wasn't in Mama.
No, it
I
wasn't
was in there and seen it.
He opened the door.
He said, don't ever spoil a good notion.
He opened it for her. Opened it up for her. Throw it out. Our property's undone then.
Well, listen.
She had my mind to split this hot boy. It had a way round pan with a hole in it, you know, and it wouldn't come out. It'd come out by half, it'd come out. Now my mind to throw this hot boy. He just pushed the hot boy into the floor, down the hot boy he went.
That wasn't Mama. The Mama throwed it
I want to get that cake so bad.
But I was there.
So that might be another time.
Yeah, Daddy held it over and said, "Don't let a good man go to waste," or something like that. She throwed it out.
I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you had all the children that Mama had and all the trials and temptations, I
might have thrown
mean,
a good
tribulations
cake
that she
out.
went through, you might have found more than a cake
Well,
out.
I'm not gonna Marvin.
Well, at least you know you didn't spend all the time farming.
Smoking that pipe. The old man says, "Well, you Marvin, get rid of that pipe."
That was his recreation.
And he says, "You get rid of that pipe. And all you study about something go chooky, 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 choo, that old tractor and that old car." And Marvin, the old man, he kept on. The old man come up to Marvin and grabbed that pipe and threw it way down. I guess, boy, God, I'm gonna get it.
Howard, you know who dropped the bowl of soup one time?
Charles dropped the bowl of butter
I
beans.
don't know about
Was
that.
it butter beans?
Yes, 'cause it was the first butter beans we'd had.
And nobody hadn't took none out but Dad did. Charles got a hold of the bowl and it was a little too hot and it dropped. Spilled them everywhere on the floor.
Somebody over the other side of the table had a hold to it.
Charles and Howard were fighting over it.
Charles' chair went back.
Remember the old shelf? Remember the old shelf down in the dining room, just beside the table?
Yeah.
Above the table, it was about that wide, all the way across the room. Mama filled that thing every year with canned fruit. Oh, it had hundreds of jars of half-gallon jars of it.
And in the spring of the year, they hadn't eat up all them peaches. They weren't none left.
No, 'cause Charles got them and ate them a quart at the time.
Give me, no, half a gallon. I ate half of it one day, half a gallon.
What's no quart jar? No, half-gallon.
Put the jars right back up.
You remember the wallpaper we had in the kitchen under that shelf?
I know.
I do.
It was newspapers,
You'll say
and
it
we
wasn't
played
the
the
chocolate
most
syrup.
games. We'd find the word, and we'd tell somebody to find it, and we'd play the game to see who could find the word we were thinking of. You remember that? Sure I do. I don't. Oh,
We
you,
you
too
weren't
big.
there.
You were the baby.
We couldn't play rook, but we could play them numbers. No, he couldn't play no cards. Them numbers. Hey, he'd play them.
We took calendars and made games out of them, matched the pairs, the numbers.
He'd play no cards.
I never saw him bad enough to see something out of the way one time. Was hauling logs and on a wagon, and had a log wagon like you use a log fell down between the wheel and the front axle, and it got hung. The mule pulled up, that log got hung, we couldn't get it out. We worked there trying, prying, and backing up and trying to get it out, it wouldn't come out. Finally got a great long old pine pole, it looked like a sound. And got it, he trimmed it off sharp so it go between the end of the spokes there, and go pry it down, stuck it up like that, you know, it's longer than a wall there. And he got out the end of it, pried on it. Said, get up here and help me lay you down. I got there, he was up there, just like that, his legs wrapped around it and his hands. When I got around, I was going that pole broke, he fell, he hit the ground, knocked his breath. He was breathless. Looked like a minute. I laughed at him, he just laughed at it.
How old were you then? How old were you then?
At that time, he was about, I guess, 45.
I mean, you.
Huh?
How old were you?
I was about, I guess, 16 or 18.
Howard, do you remember knocking me in the head with an axe?
Yeah, I sure do.
Why didn't you finish your job?
Yeah. I was running around the house swinging a lantern like this and just having a good time. And Howard was chopping wood and I didn't pay any attention to it. So I got in the way of the axe and it hit me. I have a scar
I
right
swung
here.
back and the axe hit right in the corner of the park. I just moved
Yeah.
out of there.
And I think Grandma said, "Oh, you killed her."
My blood just running. I mean, running the stream.
That's a different family, but I almost chopped two of my sister's toes off with an axe. And my daddy, 40, 50 years later, came along and put a steel stomp right through her foot.
Foot, not a
Well, I
foot.
cut her finger off with a grinding mill, sausage mill. I cut her finger off.
Well, Carson cut me between my fingers.
You remember going over across the creek to Uncle Bill Thompson's, Homer Thompson's daddy? Well, that's one of the earliest things I can remember. I would walk, we go
They
every
had to
night.
tote you, and Daddy bought you a little red.
Yeah, it had a foot log across. It's long, very long foot log. Just cut it free down, across the creek and walk across on it. And I wouldn't walk, I bet you carry me. And you were too little to walk.
Well, Grandma was still living
then.
then.
Lantern, and I walked along that lantern. That old man over there, he had the dropsy, and his legs swelled and burst, and water is running out of his legs. Now this
They
swell.
didn't have no screen doors. Somebody had to stand over them with a peach tree limb and fight the flies off all day long. His legs, they just have streaks of busted skin. They swelled up, so they didn't have nothing then to bring water out.
Nowadays they give him some blood.
Well, bird about
another
2
20
years
years.
and they pushed it all the way down up there in the bed. He's a big old man.
How old were you when you went to live away from home?
What?
How old were you when you left to live away from home?
Oh, let's see, 1930. 32, I was 22 years old.
He went up to cut mats and then live
Yeah, I remember
2 or
that.
3 or 4 years.
I couldn't get a job nowhere. There wasn't a thing to do, and my husband went there. And served my daddy. For some reason, I don't know why I went with him. And I got talking to him. He said, "You know a young man wants a job, do you?" I said, "Yes, sir." Where can you get a job? I can't work with a young man, so I can't pay him much. What can you pay? I pay $2.50 a week to board. Well, that was more than I was making.
Yeah.
And I went down and worked about, I reckon, 8 months for $2.50 a week.
Well, I was
And I mean, when you worked a week, you worked too. You didn't work 4 days. You worked 6 days.
I held out on it 1 week, or 1 day.
And then after the first,
Changed yet.
after that, he had a threshing machine. And he told us, I'm gonna let you run that threshing machine, heavy on the threshing machine, run it on half now. We'll just divide what we make on it. You furnish the labor, I furnish the threshing machine, and keep it up. Well, I had to hire somebody to help me. I believe I paid them $55 a day, and $1 a day most of the time. And I had to hire 2 or 3 most of the time, boy, picked up. And you know, instead of making $2.50 a week, a lot of days I made $5 or $6. And Dewey went down there and married the boss's daughter in my job.
Well, I was working at Mount Gator in the hosiery mill, and that was before we had any minimum wage. And they come around and notified everybody, says if you can't pay your help $14 a week for 48 hours, you're gonna have to close the job down. Me and Katie was making about between $9 and $10 a week. We were both running the same set of machines, knitting machines. She run them 10 hours, and I run them 13.5 hours at night. But we didn't have a fixer at night, so if one of my machines broke a needle, I'd just have to stop it off and they'd fix it up when the fixer come in the next day. Well, they closed that mill down, and Howard had done been down there working with Mr. Hudson. So he come up there and found me one Saturday evening. The county agent was having some field trips and demonstrations, and we come up on that little old stripped down Nash car. He had a board for a seat, didn't have no windshield. I thought he was the funniest little man I've seen in my life. So he wanted to know if I would go down there and work with him. Said he could give me $3.50 a week in my board and washing. Well, I figured that up, and that was a little less than 5 cents an hour, because we worked about, I figured for hourly rent is a little bit less than 5 cents an hour. Well, I worked for that $3.50 a week for about a year, and he didn't know it, but I was about to steal one of his girls.
I bet he did know it.
And but
That's the reason he kept all these fellers working, to try to get rid of some of those girls.
well, he was paying me $3.50 a week, and when you have to buy some parts for the thrashing machine or something, he'd have to borrow that money I'd saved up at $3.50 a week, and to buy his parts with. He wasn't working us that way because he wanted it all himself, but that's all he had.
But he was good to young boys, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, and he learned us things that you wouldn't imagine. He learned us things there that still helps me today. I would never got it nowhere else.
Same with me. He worked for the oil company, putting in gasoline pumps and tanks, holes cut here and there. And we dig that hole out for a 500-gallon tank, cut all the pipe, thread it, put that thing in for $50. I mean, that work, old hard clay, it'll work.
It doesn't have to, you didn't have to go.
No, you don't have to pick the shovel. $15, what do you got? And sometimes, some places it was sanded, and it wasn't no trouble to dig, but most of the time it was old hard clay. And one fellow there was, I can't remember his name yet. He sold liquor all the time, big bootlegger, and he loved to brag about how much money he had. What was his name? He lived out there on the river road. The man killed him.
I don't remember.
And we were out there, we put it together. He showed his pocketbook. Oh, he had a $1,000 on that pocketbook. Now that's fun. For $3 or $4 a week, well, that was money. Anyhow, right after that, a man come in there and robbed him one day and shot him, killed him. And I was up there at 5 points when he left. He come turned around the sharp turn there. He threw dirt all over the road down there when he turned. Left out, and they finally caught him, and they tried him about 6 or 8 months later. And I happened to be up there in the court in town the day they tried him, and I went in. They said they was going to sentence him, killing Roy Ryan. Roy Ryan. Killing Roy Ryan. And I went up to the courtroom, and the judge had on a cap, just white, looked like white plaster all over. I thought maybe wearing something he wore when the case like that. Come to find out the ceiling fell in the hotel that morning eating breakfast. And cut badly, he had to shave his head. Anyhow, he sentenced him to die, and I sentence you to be placed in election chair, and until you're dead, may God have mercy on your soul. Well, I started out down the side stairs, got halfway down the landing down where the stair turned, and a David come out there and said, stop, don't move. I said, what's going to happen? And he come down that stairway with that fellow that killed him. I can't remember his name. And he paid by when he paid by, they carried him to jail. And he cussed right big and they'll never let you be. I'll be out of here before you know it. And he got out. He broke out somewhere. I can't remember what they ever done with him. But there was another fellow that was a big outlaw, Bill Payne. Yeah, Bill Payne. He robbed banks all over. Never killed nobody. He robbed banks all over. He robbed the bank in Rockingham, Norman, all over the country.
I remember his name.
You remember Bill Payne?
Oh, yeah.
And they chased him all over the country. One night I had a radio. You pick up the highway patrol on, and that later years. And I listened to it all night. They chasing him. They see him here and there, and he dodged. And he finally got away. And I rented a Thursday later on down there, from Moss Road, and there was a patrolman, old man, elderly man, come by.
Say you break out of jail. Wasn't that Roy Kelly?
I can't remember.
That was after Bill Payne.
I just don't
And
know.
I think he was sentenced.
No, that was, he killed Roy Ryan long before that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was before Bill Payne.
Bill Payne, he was several years after those got killed.
And this one man the other night that somebody cut his throat and never did find out who done it.
Yeah, I was really
I can't
sorry.
think of what his name was.
Well, I was just a little boy when this happened.
They traced him all over the country. He put it out Thursday, and I started mentioning. He put it out Thursday one night, just about dark. It was drizzling rain. Had somebody with him. See, he had somebody that was always with him. I can't remember his name. And this fellow had a scar, a bad scar on his face. And his picture's been in the paper time and time again. He had a scar. They recognized it easy.
Saturdays, if we saw a car coming, if we heard a car coming from behind us, we'd turn around and pretend we were going the other way until that car passed, because we were scared somebody's going to pick us up and make us ride with them. Just like that make a difference.
Well, you down there when I heard that man from Berlin, Germany, talking to me on the radio. Katie wasn't it? Yeah, Katie said down there. I had a radio that picked up shortwave all over the world. And there's a station that was just a few years before World War II. And there's a station in Berlin, Germany, that every night at 11 o'clock we would read a bunch of letters that people in the United States wrote it. And I wondered if they wrote everything up. I read a letter. And they'd always tell what night to be listening. I was told what night I'd be listening. I forgot all about it. And Katie come over, I was going to be a Katie come over and said, you better turn the radio, so wasn't the night that man going to talk to you from Germany? I turned it on, so a few minutes to come on there. He went over about 6 or 8 letters. And you hear him open up the paper, you know. He said, that's all for tonight. I no, here's one more. Howard Thompson, Rock Island, North Carolina. That's right, well, you were clear, you know what that was.
Yeah. But you was only up and up.
And Katie would have heard this, y'all. I forgot about it.
Well, they never had no current events on me.
Charles stayed home, behaved himself.
He did.
Or didn't get caught.
Stayed home.
It just didn't get caught.
Didn't get caught.
Yeah, his cross.
I tell you about all you did.
What? Well, we did. They wanted as many children in as there was whenever I had to stay. We was starving.
Well, you and Dewey grew up when Mom and Dad had a lot of money.
Huh?
You all were young when Mom and Daddy had a lot of money. Well, before the Depression.
They never had no money.
Well, they didn't have any money, but you had a better life, they bought you little lanterns and wagons, and they couldn't afford anything.
I didn't have.
Uncle Rocker Smith, Mama's brother, lived way down South Carolina, so we come up here every Christmas. Bring all them young'uns.
Yeah.
And Aaron Brown bought me a little red wagon. I wanted a red wagon.
We went down there and got him,
Never done it in my
brought him
life.
up to Elwood, carried him from Elwood
They
back
got to
down.
rode that wagon down the hill and just toward it.
He said,
I
"Carl,
never
you
got in my life with a little wind-up crane, you train, and you hooked behind the cat's tail and tore it off. And I found my train in them woods. I bet you go down there and find a piece of it now.
Vernon, did you have a little car?
No, I had a little old truck.
A little truck?
A little truck that Santa Claus brought me.
And
And
what?
that truck, I said, I was so proud of that little old thing. It was about that long. And I said, this is gonna last me for years and years and years.
Do you still have it?
No, but it stayed around for a long time.
Sure did. Yellow was.
He bought no automobile,
Blue, I
and the
saw
name
it.
was Pullman. I never saw one before or since. That was the name of that great.
I've heard of it, but never seen one.
Radio, Pullman. and it was a 4-cylinder. It had a magnet to the battery, and you had to crank it. And the only thing that run good when it run, but sometimes you couldn't crank it. You put it, roll it down the hill, crank it, it wouldn't crank. Teach the mules to it, put it back up, roll it down. Oh, we had times like that. Anyhow, when you bought a car then, nobody knew how to drive. They let them drive around in town, a block or two, and that was it. So we go ahead and drive home. And had a great big old hitching over. Everybody had a hitching over the yard. And a great big old steel hitching over, high in your head, had a ring in your tie horse or mule, whatever come by. And he goes out in the yard, and a great big pole. It was bigger than a bigger wheel.
Cedar.
Cedar, yes, cedar. He headed right toward that cedar pole. Now gonna stop. He whoa, whoa, whoa.
Knocked that cedar post down.
Broke it.
I was sitting in the back seat, and there wasn't no glass in that hole in the back seat. And instead of going out the side, I went out through the hole in the back.
A little oval thing, huh?
He broke it over level to the ground. I bet that cedar post in the ground already yet.
What kind of car was it when we were going up the hill towards Cousin Matt's and we turned straight around the road? It was
Model T Ford.
Well, we turned around, we went home. Straight around the
Who
road.
left the baby at the church?
We all did.
We went to the church with that old Pullman and we called it Pushman. We had to push it more than we did ride.
The first car me and you ever rode on belonged to Dr. Ingram.
He born?
And me and Grandma and Dewey been up to somewhere above there. That old road there about like a...
Ash, and inside, you had a call box with 4 calls in down there. And that key went in that little call box. You didn't have no crank on the car. I mean, you didn't have no battery. So you put a little 6-volt hot shot battery over on the side, and you turn the key that way, you could crank it. See, your T-model made the electricity as your field coil was passed by with the magnets on the flywheel, and you couldn't turn it fast enough to make enough of juice, so you put it on there to crank it up, and then you switch it on the magneto when you got started.
Well, that break that hitching post off. He broke it off. He never put another. That's the last hitching post we had. It broke it off level ground. It didn't even fade the old bumper. Had a bumper on the front. It didn't fade that.
What would it do today?
He said, whoa, whoa. And you can tell about it later on. He gets the mad you tell it. He almost fight. He said he didn't say whoa, but he did. He said, whoa, whoa.
He never did learn to drive, did he?
Nah, he drove pretty good.
It's about 23.
Well, how come you always have to drive?
He wouldn't drive. Keep me home. Leave him.
No, Mr. Thompson used to come.
He wouldn't drive that car to save your neck. He got that boy staying with us when I left home.
Years.
Yeah,
He got him a driving car.
They
And
put him
then
a
he
stop
started driving the A model, and he left he didn't turn the switch off and push it in. You got to do that to make it come out something. And he didn't believe me. I told him you have to do that. No, he didn't believe me. He left the switch on right back then. So he didn't believe me. He got somebody to take him down to Rockingham there and do it. They do it, tell me the truth about it.
That's Mama's pins I had. I got a Mama's and I got my pen.
Yes.
I didn't know
taking mine. I remember that they sent me that once I was in the heart attack.
But mine's all gone. There's Carson and Ola Mae and Rachel. And, my goodness, Evelyn. That's about all that's left. Oh, there we go. Isn't that pretty? We're going to give that flower to Charlie Honeycutt.
Yeah.
We're going to let him take it down there. He might come up here today. Hey, how are you? We hope he'll.
How you doing?
Hey, Miss America.
Teresa Darling said you could just extended everything onto her camera and just had to make one movie out of it if you wanted to.
The star.
Carabelle had been the star. We got to hear her singing last night.
You can break that thing before we get started taking pictures. Yeah, we're good. I'll get out my way so you
We'll get him to my house.
She's getting you, dear.
Yes.
Good, sis.
How you doing?
I won't make you carry much time now.
I'm really Thursday. You are orange.
Now you better watch. She'll get everybody all day. That's all she's gonna do.
You're not supposed to put the lids in there.
What are you doing here?
Or you put them back on. I'm just having fun. Have you got do it yet?
Hey,
Travis, I tell you what, hindsight's always better than foresight. But the next time you build a house, why don't you build one great old big kitchen, 'cause everybody comes and takes in the kitchen.
Well, I started.
Give a speech.
Oh, yeah. Getting everything.
Howdy, howdy.
Everybody just stops in the kitchen.
So we decided we'd go with the dining room
And we have
now she'll get you when you don't even know she's around. She's that type of person. That's what she likes to do.
That's the best kind, ain't it? That's right.
What's fun? I thought after
She even get well, I didn't care you were going to sit. One of them was no more than 6 in the bathroom at one time. Okay.
I think this is ready to come off. He's got the tape.
Yeah, and that's
I used to know how I couldn't.
I left my bed just to be social.
I got a good excuse to change that box. I gotta take my It's been a noisy campground.
Okay, Rachel, right, you want me to just sit here? We're gonna take this top down.
Get over here. I'm glad I left it.
One year I was going to bed about 2 o'clock.
What?
Rest of them left us up here.
gonna take them down off the window, look there,
Oh, you like to see it, that's what we do. Whatever you feel comfortable.
Oh, yeah, that ain't hurt so bad, I couldn't stand it. I had to have an animal with all day green.
Hello there.
You want to get by?
Yeah.
Well, just wait a minute, now I'll get you too.
Grab an old piece of cake in my hand. So watch how big a bite I take.
Somebody's got me under my arms. I'm sort of cuddling and my legging. She will make sure she got it in time to wear up here. Yes.
Who made it? No, it
Down here at the end, so they can pick that up at the end. What? Bread? As they come down, they just,
I mean, that doesn't matter. So them others can get mine first.
They're not mine, I don't think.
Maybe that's what keeps him going.
I think right there where the tree was got that camera. I don't know.
And 3 more inches, yeah. 3 there.
Guess you quit staggering.
Do it in turn
Let us pray. Our Father, we thank Thee for this gathering. We thank Thee for this family. We thank Thee for all the blessings and gifts. Bless this food and nourishment of our bodies. Save us for Christ's sake. Rest in Thy name.
Y'all come on, dig in.
Very good.
Come on, Howard. Start the line.
Get your seat.
Somebody else took the line. You go right behind.
Here's your tea.
I was in a hurry, so y'all wouldn't have to wait long.
We eat these beans. We have Hawaiian music tonight with that pineapple juice. Drink that with music. I mean Hawaiian music.
Hand off in there.
I had to have an extra plate that she got in.
I don't know. Look like potatoes or something.
Yeah. We'll go share it.
Charles, what would you like to drink?
Some tea. When you got it, if you ain't got tea, give me water.
Get in line.
Let me
How'd you like to like
That's sweet. That's sweet. Sweet love.
I get it. I can handle it. I can
Sweet loaves, sweet cherry, and
depends on the way I turn it.
Evelyn, what can I teach you? I got one, you got one right here. Everything over here.
But then,
That's what we're supposed to eat for supper dinner yesterday, we didn't eat it, and I put it out here so maybe somebody would eat some today.
I didn't get yours in here. I just bring it out.
I don't care.
Right up here.
That's sweet. Well, everybody. Which kind? Knock, coming through.
Yeah, like the big band sound.
You hit
That's
that
the
leg.
first man. The Thompson goes up over that thing, messed it up.
I'm resting.
Well, I think they've already had their dinner, but there's gonna be plenty if they want to wait today.
Surely
She's gonna be busy. She may not, what did I have already eaten? She said she was going
got room on this place.
Well, we got a little plate so people will leave loose.
Well, it's always what time to come back for a second. Y'all can, no, that's
And then I
not
just look at them down in there.
What kind of tea would you like? Yeah. We don't have but one kind.
Gotta have a biscuit. Hot water and it'll.
take out my plate. Christine with our bread.
Hey, you're not supposed to see how full I fill my slide.
Is that Carson?
You're supposed to ignore me.
I'm ignoring you. I got mine on the table. I think that's enough. Maybe.
Who you talking to? The picture taker?
Yeah, I took mine two back in the three.
There you are, Peggy. You're right along behind me.
Okay.
I got three already.
This is yours. This is yours. Here, I put that down there. I'll pull it.
How about the slide on it? Oh, there's apples.
She made it. Come on, you set your tea down in there.
All right, I'm not gonna spill it. Hopefully.
What kind of tea you got?
Make her get she looks good.
That's not my.
Oh, that's that tater stuff. You told me one time. Come on, come on. I can't eat salad and all this stuff too.
Mine had a big piece of ice in it.
You want a bowl for salad?
No, I got it. I was still in line.
It's a little bit of
Okay.
peas. Please, while I'm here.
That's the peas. Peanuts.
Yeah.
Here's some diet mix with me, Kathleen. Only have one bite.
What's pot never?
Oh, I didn't even get no apples.
No, wash hot.
About 6 outfits.
Never several.
I mean, I want some apples.
No, you go first. I forgot about
pencils left out overnight, and I knew that's the kind I wanted. This is apples. I didn't get a fork tonight. Those little birds are so happy out there because we do. They just sit in and sing.
No, I don't care.
I left to hear a bird, hear the squirrel thought. When you walk outside, it makes the squirrel so mad that. Oh, were you talking about birds? Right. You were playful and I thought it was you. Were you talking about the birds and bees? Well, what about it?
No, she don't talk about the birds.
Who? Lula?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Rachel.
Look here.
I don't know what about it.
What's that? The congealed salad. Oh, land. Put it in there and let them get it if they want
What's
some.
that?
It's passed around. Congealed salad. Oh, good God. Too much food.
Is this one mine?
We need a bigger, yeah, we need a bigger plate. We're just being
You gotta
big.
get in the line here now if you want to get some of it.
Yeah, Tricia, y'all get your plate and give yourself this plenty. You and Linda both get your plate and eat all you want. Always the folk here needs eat. I'm not hungry. You can let it rest and you and Wendell get your plate.
Let it rest, man, come on
You
now.
and Wendell get your plate and eat.
Nobody's interested in how much food I eat. You might make me embarrassed.
I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that.
I'm not worried about it.
I didn't think it was.
Eat, get fat. All those good things. I told her not to cook biscuits, but I think she did, so I'll eat them. That's one now.
Thursday, yeah.
Congealed salad that we forgot to put out. Congealed salad.
Send it over here.
It's coming, listen, you wanna get you a little bit more? It might not come back. Do you want some more? Oh.
It might not get up here.
Delicious.
Glad it's hard to anybody.
Now, how did you like this with your mom?
Here's something y'all missed on.
I have
Congealed salad.
I don't know.
Now, we don't want it to leave up here.
I'm standing by. No, pass it around. Let's go.
Would you do something for me?
What newspaper you gonna put that in?
I need a knife. What those little knives over there?
What newspaper you gonna put that in?
Put the Thompson Journal.
The theater.
You just send that to the,
Is that close to the air now?
Huh?
Is that close to the air? We got a price tag on it.
You have to ask Catherine about that.
No thanks. You didn't have a clue.
Down to your house, and then when.
Be all one time.
About the first Christmas I remember was somebody brought me a little red wagon. That's the prettiest red wagon in the world. I was so proud of it. My uncle, they'd come by about every Christmas and stay 4 or 5 days. They had four or five grown boys. They got a little red wagon out running down up and down the hill. They tore it up. And I don't ever see them yet now. Even now, but when I think about a red wagon, I never have seen one of them. I don't think when I thought about a red wagon. What I'm doing here now, more now. And every time I see him, I think about him riding down the hill on my red wagon. They demolished it. It wasn't anything left.
Just hold the bell, hold the bit of bid.
Okay, now Gladys. Hey, Gladys.
Am I supposed to?
Yeah.
I really don't remember being my first Christmas. All right,
Well,
now.
anything that you might remember when you first met him, Howard.
That's been so long I forgot all that too. Well, he was right greasy when I first seen him the first time.
I was.
You sure was. Just as greasy as you could be.
Where you been working?
He was working at Mr. Powell Hudson's. And I went by to carry, Artemus Bailey was working there with him, and I went by to carry Artemus a note from his girlfriend.
From Howard's girlfriend?
No, from Temus's. And I lived right below where they worked at the shop, and went by there to carry it. And I saw Howard there. I didn't even speak to him.
Did he see you?
I reckon he did, but I didn't speak to him that day. And then the next time I seen him, he was at church for Catholic.
Don't believe that. She'd every while when she run on high.
Yeah, that's not
Don't
so.
believe it
But the
now.
next time I saw you, you was at the church with Captain Hudson. And he left Captain and come over there and started talking to me and went home with me.
Don't believe that.
You're supposed to whistle into that. You're supposed to whistle into it. Whistle a tune. Whistle a tune. You're supposed to whistle.
I can't whistle. I ain't got my new teeth tuned in good yet, so I can't whistle a tune. But I remember Daddy carried us boys to town one time on Christmas Eve, and he said, "Had you boys rather have a quarter and spend it like you want it, or you want me to have some pay for your Santa Claus?" So we just all took the quarter and that was over.
I remember one time I heard this man talking in a little childlike voice, and I looked out my bedroom window, and this young man was talking to my little sister, and he gave her a bag of apples to take in the house to her mama, and and my daddy had went off and found him to come work for him. And anyway, that started a long time ago, something.
Did he ever give you a bag of apples?
He gave the apples to Mama, but then he started. It was my little dear and my little baby and my little sister Ruth, and so then he sort of helped me get up my lessons and taught me a few chords on his old guitar, and I was 14. I was just a child, I reckon he thought, but a couple of years later, we got married, which has been 54 years ago. Thank the Lord.
I might have told
Katie's daughter, Betty Sue.
I guess one of the first things that I remember is the big 3-story house. I guess it was McCrae House. I remember that I always was told that there was somebody murdered up on the 3rd floor, and I was scared to go up there. And I remember going to Grandma's and eating collards and chocolate cake that busted open, and she filled all the cracks full of chocolate icing, and that was so good.
That's right.
I ain't got nothing right down when I was little I want to talk about. Yeah. 'Cause I was so mean and got so many whoopings, it isn't doing good. I growed up, and I had a gal in every little town in the country, and I had this T Model 4, old 26 Model T. I had me some wheels put on it, 34, 4.5, off old Buick on the rear. I put a new one on that morning, front, and me and Lance Russell took off Albemarle. Well, we had some soldier boys and what was them old CC camp boys? We picked them up, take them over to Albemarle. We went over to West Stanley, got a pair of gals, you know, oh, they was cute. And we went up there to the theater and got in there, watched that movie. We come back out, we didn't have no T-Model. Somebody stole it. And the police would laugh at them, talking about stealing a T-Model Ford. They laughed at me. So we got away, get the gals home. I run up to old buddy of mine, used to live right over the crossroads. Old Tucker boy, big fat boy. He took us home. So I got it up, turned it into the state highway police, and old, I forget his name. And he said, I'll find it for you. I knowed him good anyhow. So in the meantime, somebody told me, Red Thompson told me, go to that fortune teller over at Norwood. He'd tell you where that car is. I went over there to them, me and Lance Russell did. One night, the old nigger man down there, if he ain't dead, he's still telling fortunes. And he says, I tell you where to get that car, but you ain't gonna get it unless you take Lance Russell with you, the boy that was with you. We went over there, me and Red Thompson, and I believe Pa Jean, and looking for that T-Model. We drove right by it and didn't ever see it. Come back home, out over there in the field flying. Old police said, I found that T-Model. Went up there and got it, right exactly where that fortune teller told us to find it.
That's enough. Let somebody else talk. I'm going to tell about first time I ever met you. It was on a blind date. Rachel Latter brought you over there to meet me, and he didn't get out of the car. Rachel come to the house and got me, and we went out to the car. And he was kind of, you know, grinning like he had a mustache, you know. And I never did see him out in the light that night to see what he really did look like, but I thought he looked the most like Clark Gable. I told Mama I had a date with Clark Gable. And I ended up marrying him.
Well, I had this old 36 Chevrolet. 36 Fords, I wouldn't have Chevrolet. And we went on a date, a picnic up here on the, what's the name of that bridge going towards Ashburn? We was up there that night, babe, back up there in the woods out in the dark, you know. And we got up there, and here the lights went out. Oh, I couldn't fix them lights. I couldn't do nothing. So it was so darn dark, you couldn't see nothing. I said, I tell you, all of you get out and catch you some lightning bugs and dab them on them headlights, and we'll see how to get home. So we did, and that brought us home.
When I started thinking about the things that I could talk about, there's so many things I want to say, but I don't have but a minute. I'd like to say that at Christmas time it was a special time. We didn't have a lot of expensive gifts, but we always went out in the woods and got us a nice, pretty Christmas tree and decorated it, sometimes with popcorn or homemade decorations. And we, and Mama always had something. Santa Claus always came to see us. During the Depression years, the things we got were very, you know, we just got little toys. Cousin Lynn's boss would always help Mama with that because he loved children and he didn't have any of his own. He always was so good to us. Everybody was having a hard time in those days, but then I would like to say that I would remember about Katie that she did so many things for us. She sewed, made our clothes. I remember when I went to college, she spent hours working on a pink satin evening dress for me. It was beautiful, and she had to get up in the middle of the bed to hold it, but the skirt was so big so that she could get it hemmed. And I just appreciated that in her so much, that she was willing to spend so much of her time sewing for us. And we do miss her.
That's not your mama. Well, there are an awful lot of things that I would like to say that I remember about our family. But one thing that I have noticed the difference in our family and families of today, we never had to be told what we had to do every day. We knew what we were supposed to do, and we did it. And there was no grumbling and griping. We knew what was expected of us, and we did it. And I think that's because Mom and Daddy let us know that they expected us to be responsible for our chores and for what our part in the family and our contribution to the family. And I remember that when I graduated from high school, I would not have had even invitations to send had it not been for Katie. She really was a sacrificial person, and we loved her greatly and missed her.
Well, about the time I decided I was going in the service, I came back up here to tell her, and I wanted a place with a little bit of privacy. So we went over behind the baseball diamond and behind the big billboard over in wherever it was she was working at. Candor. And as I started going behind that billboard, what are we going back here for? She was scared to death. Well, we talked a little bit, and I finally ended up asking her to marry me, but I didn't get an answer. She said she'd tell me later, and so I guess 6 months or so later, she said yes, and I was broke, but we got together and got married anyhow. And that's the end of that tall tale.
Oh, no, you can look at anywhere you want.
Well, I'm like all the rest. When I was growing up, the main things I remember is it was really in the Depression days, because early 30s when most I can remember there. And I'd go to school in the fall and didn't have any shoes till it got so cold, and Daddy sold some cotton. Then they'd get us some shoes and a coat. And a lot of kids would kid at me and said, "Aren't your feet cold?" I said, "No, I'm not cold a bit." And then one of the first vivid things I can remember with Rachel and I think it was Rachel and I, Lou, or some of us were in the yard, and we saw a car turn over down there, and the man got killed. I can remember Mama and some of them taking sheets down there and wrapping me in the bloody sheets there, so in my mind for so long.
I guess the first time I remember going to the Thompson house was a Sunday afternoon. I went home with the Robinson girls, which were neighbors of theirs, and we went over, and like Betty Sue said, we played upstairs in the house, and they told me about the murder also. But we went all the way up anyway, and we played there all afternoon. I was just a little tot then. It was before Carson and I had even thought about dating. I was just a kid at the time.
I got a lot of memories, but one that sticks in my mind real close is about Christmas, like they were talking about. But you tell the children nowadays what you had for Christmas, and they said, "What in the world could you do with 50 cents?" But every year, Daddy would give us 50 cents on Saturday, on Easter, not Easter, but on Christmas Eve, and he would take us to town. And I can still see in my mind the old dime store we would go in, and I would buy my mama a pair of stockings, I'd buy my daddy a pair of socks, and I'd buy me a set of Jack Rocks, a paddle ball, and with these great big Mickey Mouse balloons with feet on it that you throw them up and come back down. And that took my 50 cents. And then another thing that's always stuck in my mind, when I was just in the first grade, Katie had left 50 cents laying on a dresser or something. She was working in the mill and making money, and I didn't have any money, and I took that 50 cents. And I went to school, and several of my classmates and I walked downtown from the schoolhouse that day, and we bought 50 cents worth of candy. And if you want to see 50 cents worth of candy back then, we had a great big bag full. And when I went home that day, Katie wanted to know where her money was. I said, I don't know. She said, Rachel, don't tell stories. Said, I'm not going to be mad, but don't lie. And that's one of the first lessons I really learned, that it don't pay to steal, because I was so guilty, feeling that I'll never forget it. And I appreciate Katie for telling me that it was wrong, instead of saying, oh, it's just money, let her go, and letting me know to think that it was all right. So I have a lot of memories of growing up with my brothers and sisters and my mother and dad.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about the past. I'm going to say something about the present. I want to thank every one of you from the bottom of my heart for coming to our home, spending the night with us. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Okay, everybody knows I can't remember good. I can't remember those quarters or 50 cents as the Daddy used to give us. All I could remember was just getting an orange or two in our bag at Christmas time. But I do remember the last time that Santa Claus came to see me, and he brought me a little old blue truck, and I said, this thing is going to last me for years and years and years. And I kept that little old truck, I don't know how long, but a long time. And another thing that I remember, Dewey, Dewey probably don't remember it, but he was a good doctor. I remember when he lived in Rockingham, and I had boils all over me. One time, I wouldn't let nobody doctor but Dewey. But he always took care of me when he came. Another thing I remember, after there's several of them left home when I was little, and we always looked forward to them coming home, and a lot of them would come, like Katie and them would come right often, and is there a lot of times on Sunday for dinner, and Katie could always make the best chicken gravy. That was such good stuff, and I remember that just as plain as everything. And when we moved down to the Pekin area, didn't know I was going to find a wife down there. We played together, and had good times at corn shuckings and things like that. But we've had some good years together too.
Well, I don't really remember exactly the first time I met the Thompson family, but as we went to school and grew up, I remembered Mr. and Miss Thompson would come over, and Rachel, and I guess Carson was in it too, and they'd bring popcorn, and we'd pop popcorn, and they'd bring syrup, and we'd make popcorn balls, and I guess the first night I ever spent the night was when there was a convict out, and Mr. and Miss Thompson didn't want us to stay over there that night, and so we went and they came and got us, and come to find out the next morning the convict had slept in the barn, so and in our barn. So through the years of growing up and working and going to school together, then we began to love one another. So here we are then today.
38. This is the baby, but not, and the last, but I'll always be the baby. I remember when Lou and old May lived away, I always looked forward to them coming home. I remember one time we sang, they'll be coming around the mountain when they come. And Mama always put the big pot, the little pot in the big pot, and we always had lots of good food when they came home. And I also remember that when Lula would write home, when she lived in California, she always said, I was out today and I saw somebody that looked just like you. And also, I remember, as Vernon mentioned, the gravy that Katie used to make when we'd come home from church. I also remember Mama's pretty aprons that she always wore. She never went to the kitchen without her apron. And you know, I have aprons at home and I never put one on. I guess I just don't take care of my clothes like she had to take care of hers. And also, I remember, I think I mentioned a little bit ago, but when Katie would come home, would come over to our house, at their church, they would have Sunday school and preaching earlier than we, so she could come to our home and have our dinner prepared when we got there. And also, I remember her flowers on the front porch of the Hearn house. And I want to thank Rachel and Travis for this good weekend.
Used to pass by the office where I worked as she went to work this morning. And I got it timed so I knew when she'd be walking by there, so I used to go up front there so I could see her walk by. But I never could get down there enough to speak to her. But the printing office that I worked in, we had occasion to take some printing up there one time. And I delivered it. And I told her, I says, well, I'll be calling you one of these days. The next day I called you what? 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
So she said, she agreed to a date. And it began, but we never did talk about getting married that I know of. I just gave her a ring one day. I think it was on the road from Wadeville to Troy we were driving, thereabouts. And that was about it.
Tell them where we went.
On our first date?
Mm-hmm.
I went to the zoo.
No, to the circus.
The circus.
And who was there?
I don't remember.
Carson and Catherine were there too.
Yeah.
And we were living.
Yeah, she was living with Carson and Catherine at the time.
And we didn't know they were going to be going, but they were there too.
So I saw a lot of Carson and Catherine during our courtship.
Because we were living, because I was staying with Carson and Catherine.
Yeah.
And they were so good to me, to let me stay there.
It's so good to me for letting me come down there.
Speak for the whole family. To Rachel and to Travis, we thank you. This has been a wonderful weekend, one that we'll never forget. You have a lovely home and lovely children. We love you both, and we appreciate this weekend more than you'll ever know. We have purchased something for you. It didn't get here on time. We don't have it wrapped. It isn't even made. But this is the tablecloth for you, so that when it gets made to the size of your table, it'll be delivered to you with our love.
Will everybody come and eat you? Will you have it ready by next weekend?
I want to say a few words about our family. No family ever stuck together like it has. Through thick and thin. My dad was an invalid for several years, and when the same night we arranged once a month, got together and arranged for the one member of the family, one of the children would be there every night. It wasn't just one night, every night. And when the single time and all that several years that the one was supposed to be there wasn't there, or had called another one to swap nights. I've never known another family quite get together like that. We've always got together. We never had any major quarrels that I know of. I don't think we ever had any, since we were young, had any fight. We used to fight cats and dogs when we were little, but since that time we all get along pretty good. We've been well blessed. It's been in the late 80 years, if I can get it right now, we had my grandmother died in 1924, and she was old. Not many of the young ones don't remember her, but she was an old lady. She was had a will of her own. She made her children walk around and do what she wanted to do. There wasn't any question about that. But anyhow, she died in 1924. Since that time, I believe Ralph died, old his husband, and I don't even remember what year it was. And then later on, our parents died, and Kenneth died. And all that length of time, 80 years, that's the only one who died.
Katie.
What?
Katie.
Katie.
1954.
Who?
Katie.
Katie. Yeah, what, did I miss Katie?
Yeah.
I thought I did. Okay, all right. Katie died back in, what year was it, 54?
1954.
54. And she would have been almost, well, she would have been close to 75 years old now. We're all still together. I can't talk about it. Get so emotional, but it's wonderful the way we got along.
When we were first married, Katie used to sew a lot for all of us. And my children, she'd make them pretty little suits, little dresses. And we thought there wasn't nobody like Katie. And my children grew up to love her too. And they still talk about her, Katie, how good she was to them. I just thank the Lord for the family that we had.
One time we were there and I was going to go hug Katie. And she says, no, nobody's going to hug me but my husband. And I didn't hug Katie, didn't try it anymore.
And one time when Malin and Lula was home spending the weekend, I was sitting on a big stool at the dresser with my back to everybody on Saturday night. We always had to wash and roll our hair on Saturday night, and I was sitting there rolling my hair, and somebody come put their arms around my neck from behind. He said, honey, about ready to go to bed? I turned around and looked, and there was Malin. He mistook me for Lula. I said, no.
Anybody else?
For we're a jolly good family, for we're a jolly good family, for we're a jolly good family. Nobody can deny it. Nobody can deny it.
Well, I thank y'all for letting me come and be here. There was no mention made of my husband, Ralph McLean, and he died a long time ago, and a lot of us have forgotten. And surely we do, it does get to the point that we don't feel it so much, and that's good, but he was an important part of our family, and he loved coming to see us, and he was a minister for, I don't remember now how many years, but he did a very good job with the work that he did in Madison and
Greensboro, and at the time he died, he was pastor of a church near Greensboro, and I just wanted to mention him because there may be some people who will hear this tape who do not know that about Ralph McLean. Now, I'd like to tell about the service at the church this morning where we all attended, and we had composed a little insert for the bulletin. They wanted us to do this so that the people at the church would know what was happening with all of us coming in. And on the front of it, it said, "In loving memory of Eugene Monroe and Mattie Smith Thompson, Katie Thompson Honeycutt, Malcolm Ralph McLean, and Kenneth Gerald Thompson." Inside, as a memorial to our parents, Eugene Monroe and Mattie Smith Thompson, we are worshiping here together today. The Lord has graciously blessed our family over the years. There are 9 of the 10 children still living and present. Howard and Gladys Thompson, Rockingham. Dewey and Sarah Bell Thompson, Rockingham. Charles and Evelyn Thompson, Tavares, Florida. Ola Mae McLean, Charlotte. Malin and Lewis Smith, Belmont. Carson and Catherine Thompson, Albemarle. Travis and Rachel Hudson, Mount Gilead. Vernon and Peggy Thompson, Norwood. Richard and Annette Van Salisbury. Katie Thompson Honeycutt, our oldest sister, died in 1954. We are pleased that Betty Sue Honeycutt Little, as well as Charlie and Julia Honeycutt, are with us, along with some other members of our family. Stony Fork Baptist Church played an important role in our lives. It was here that we were taught Christian principles that have guided us through the years. Daddy was a charter member of this church and served in many capacities, including deacon, treasurer, Sunday school superintendent, and Sunday school teacher. During some of the Depression years, regular contributions were insufficient to take care of the pastor's salary, which was $10 a month, and on many Saturday afternoons, Daddy would visit various members in an effort to have enough funds for the pastor's salary that month. He believed in regular church attendance and often said that he would rather not go at all if he couldn't be on time. Some of us remember riding to church on a wagon. We also remember walking about 4 miles one way to church every Sunday. Mama was also faithful in church attendance and in support of all church activities. She contributed to the church a goodly portion of all the money she received. She saved all the eggs her hens laid on Sunday and gave the proceeds to the church. We appreciate what this church has meant to us over the years. Our prayers are that you will continue to grow and that other lives will be influenced as ours have been. It was good for us to be there today and see the activity that's going on. It pleases us very much that they have a new minister who is really taking a lively interest in the congregation.
Yeah, you hold it. I made a little memento for everybody to take home with them. I have one of these for everybody. Now, there's one in here that is a little different from everybody else's. And I'll tell you after you get them just what how you'll know that that is the one. And the one who gets that gets a rabbit's foot. Oh, that's all we need.
Three-legged rabbit walking around somewhere.
There's a little rabbit with 3 legs. Isn't that little rabbit running around? It's not one of mine, because mine is it might not now.
Yeah, it might
You
not
guys
now.
notice, no. And
Thank you.
my rabbits are fine. You can hang them on your window, or your door, or your refrigerator, or your mirror.
I appreciate it very much.
Ain't that true, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Just to remember our good times together this weekend.
Yes.
She said it didn't take long. Betty Sue, you get one too, and you get one for Charlie, and you get one for Julie. Oh, I just rack up these, don't I? And you get 3 little things to hold. Okay, thank you.
easy to get them flowers in there.
And they real
It's
flowers.
magic. It's magic.
Real flowers.
Press them in a Bible. I know. Catalog. I think I have it.
I got it.
No, you don't. I know who has it.
I got it.
I have it.
I think I got it.
I think I got it.
I bet nobody would want that.
That's what I was just thinking. You mean it's already
Mine's
got,
different.
we don't have a
You
chain?
don't have a chance. I'm sorry.
Sure is.
I got it.
Look at that little thing.
Mine's different. Yes, I got it.
So I don't know, you said that before I got
Rabbit's foot. We'll get a rabbit's foot.
She might be the lucky one.
Here it is.
Did everybody get a little, hanger? Okay. On one, there is a flower in the back. On the back of the white disc. Betty Sue. Oh, she did the rabbit foot. Good. So Betty Sue gets the rabbit foot. Lucky. So we go.